Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. Now, starting this off, looking at, we got today President-elect Biden due to speak at some point and discuss more about his plans. Now, what we have seen is the aid plan could be about 2 trillion, up from the 1.3 trillion that had been asked for about 6 hours ago, apparently, or more. I'm looking at this now, yesterday, anyway. Now, 2 trillion is what is expected to be asked for, so something's much more significant, and the markets are reacting quite slowly on this, because remember, this is asking for, it's not being voted through, and it's just a plan. So this is where we're sitting at the moment. But so how are these markets reacting? Well, not really too much at all. We're not dollar coming up. This would normally be dollar weakness when you're sort of borrowing so much money, but it's not reflecting in the market, so there we are. We have also got today speaking the Fed chair, Powell, speaking later at this evening, actually. I say this evening, 5:30, almost evening. At 5:30 we've got the Fed chair speaking. Aside of that, we've got nothing else to be worrying about from normal economic data coming out there, so just seeing what Biden's got to speak about later. Right, okay, so let's get on and look at these markets, starting off looking at the euro here. So the euro, it managed its pop yesterday, but it dropped and a bit more like a dead cat bounce than anything else, it looks. So where next? I was talking about this yesterday in a trading room. We've got the potential from what we're seeing here. If this continues rolling back to the 50, I said it before, it seems the next logical area. Looking at the price action just from this 4-hourly point of view, you've got a lower high in at the very early stages there. Now we're just about to see if this breaks these the low of the 11th there. Break of that confirms a much more significant lower high. And if in the bigger scheme of things, you're looking at waves and things like this, well, we're probably into a much bigger wave formation at that stage, so we'll see how it rolls. But just looking, obviously very key, 60-minute time frame showing a few more sort of attempts at this sort of 121.35 area, 36 area, which has been attempted a number of times up until now. We've found support at that area, but it looks very much like that could just erode. So euro looking very soft at this stage. Any change in plans today? Well, it's already had a bit of a move back. Daily pivot sits up here at about 121.73. Maybe. If this just dips its toes through there, picks up the buy orders and flew, well, there we go. But really, technically, it looks quite bearish from where it's sitting. The pound. So the pound here, the pound yesterday managed to push up, fractionally made new highs. Now these highs, I was talking about them in the room again yesterday. They're quite significant. You're sort of rolling back to 2018 since we've had such highs with the pound there. So significant highs, but we did see a reaction. We managed to trade that reaction, but it literally just came back to its daily pivot, which was the target wise. But at the moment we're sitting in this sort of more consolidated phase. Just the shape of it looks like it might just roll back. In fact, if you look at the 60-minute, you just sort of look at it, it sort of where it was at one stage, to be fair, it was just looking like a sort of a bare flag off here that may have rolled over some more. I still wonder, I guess the longer it sits out here, well, still may roll over, but it hasn't sold off as quick as expected, and it is just holding up that bit better, the pound. It may push back up towards its R1, towards those highs, and then roll again. I don't have at this stage a lot of faith in it pushing too much further, but it is outperforming, and it's certainly outperformed a lot of its peers yesterday. Dollar yen's, well, I mentioned this potential of this yesterday, how it'd been pushing into the mean sort of area on the underside, on the downward trend there. Is it going to start changing trend here a little bit and just use that sort of mean area as a springboard? Well, it looks like maybe that may be exactly what it's doing at this stage anyway. Again, potential for that to push back up there. Certainly the Bank of Japan would prefer it up here than down towards the 102 area for sure. But at the moment, looking softer on the yen. For the yen, stronger on the dollar there. Higher lows just being confirmed as it's pushing up through this price action. But I guess it's steady more than anything else. Yesterday it pushed up there a bit quicker than I expected, but still did that push up. It's already it's air kissed its pivot. Maybe if it does reverse back, that would be a target. But for now, it looks like it may have more upside there. Okay, Aussie dollar. A little bit softy yesterday, ended up on a down day. Again, it's resisting. A lot of people sort of write these currencies off quite quickly when you look at them in the short time, but you look at this, it's still in a solid upward trend. But that on that picture, then it's got this lower high that was already confirmed on the 4 hourlies. But a break of this area around 77.83, that a break of that prior high would give us a higher low, and maybe suggest further upside. For those old-fashioned head and shoulder people, there's an inverted head and shoulders just about sitting there. You can draw the trend line across the top there, and you'll be happy as Larry, because break of that would see it run maybe back to that weekly R1 area. Good old-fashioned patterns, eh? Now looking the other side of this, we've got a bearish trend. Oh, I say bearish, a bullish trend line, a rising trend line sitting there, but a break of that would be bearish. So there's the other side of the coin on this Aussie dollar, and well, it's choppy as it. You can see that how spiky it is. The pound did this to us yesterday. I have to confess, I was short, and then it started pushing up again, and I was almost considering reversing. Well, I was considering reversing the trade, but these sort of spiky price action, it's for intraday traders, it can be, well, off-putting at times, to put it mildly. Anyway, there we are. Aussie dollar, a break of the trend line here would see it more bearish, maybe back down towards its S1. Otherwise, if it continues pushing where it is, breaks the trend across the highs, well, look out for those prior highs as a target there at 77.94 over the next day or so, he says. Canadian dollar, it is slow, the Aussie. Canadian dollar, well, the Canadian dollar is gathering a bit of strength. The oil price has been helping to a degree, and well, the Canadian dollar, either way, it's outperforming a little bit at the moment. Lower highs, lower lows through here, and still looking like it's got more downside. Today, well, that S1 prior lows would be a potential target. Not very much left in it now, but as we were looking at it yesterday, as I said, with trend lines popping across here, it looked like it might have had some potential, but it did have a pop then drop. So it's yeah. Anyway, it's still with this bigger picture, lower highs, lower lows running through there. Canadian dollar soft. Okay, or the dollar CAD, it should be, is soft. Right, okay, let's have a look at the other markets here. So S&P's, I'm just looking at this on a 60-minute straight. Actually, let's just look at it on the daily, just to yeah, strong uptrend still. Yesterday, a bullish day closing. 4 hourlies here. Very difficult to really I mean, it's a buyer's market. If it pops back into this sort of 37.80 area, it seems, somewhere in that region. I wouldn't necessarily guarantee that, but if you see these pullbacks, they seem to be a buy opportunity. At some stage, maybe the demand would disappear, and this support area would disappear. But for now, it's actually just broken the prior highs here through this Asian session, and well, maybe just continuing the upper side. I mean, Biden's work is, I mean, if he's going to borrow $2 trillion and that's going to be spent out in the US economy, this market, these markets, these companies would benefit greatly, and we would see potentially much more profits than these, and we'd just see a continuation of the upside. This market, it feeds really well into the equity markets. Right, that's that. Gold's a bit sluggish, consolidating around the lows here really at this stage. Yesterday just ended up selling off in the end. just really just can't hold on to anything. As I said before, it's a bearish wedge. As my drawing disappeared, it has. Yeah, I've drawn a trend across the lows here yesterday in our trading room, and we're just looking at this, and it really has just broken to the lower side there. Now it's found support around the prior lows for now. It does look weak to me, but well, just looks weak. There's nothing else in that for now. And I know there was sort of like JP Morgan and co. all sort of saying the upside of gold could be great, but whenever that happens, you always see it sell. Right, that's gold. We've looked at that. Finally, quick look at oil. If you've got anything else you want me to briefly look at, do text it there. Oil. Let's just come from the 60-minute point of view. New near-term highs yesterday, but couldn't hang on to those. But it's pushing back up again now. It just really is. With the stimulus kicking out there, traders are getting in there at the early stage and thinking, well, oil's going to push and push, and it is at this stage. The Saudis have really done a great job for the markets overall. Coming down to the 60-minute though, I mean, we saw this quite big sell-off yesterday afternoon there, and consolidation. Well, it's pushing up again at the moment. My preference for trading oil is post 2 p.m. and this is the reason, because you just get these horrible price action sometimes when there's, particularly when you trade in Western Texas. It's when it's properly traded, so it's the better time for taking trades. But I'm sort of eyeing up at the way this is shaping up, and the bigger trend up here, that we may see a break of a trend later on, and a continuation. It looks like it's got a bit more bounce in there. Okay, that's there. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin yesterday, I was talking about it may come back to the trend. Hasn't come back to that trend line. You can't actually. I just realised you can't actually see this chart, but Bitcoin. It's in fact, can I bring it up onto the? I use the futures. It's got some data missing as in the weekend because it's a futures one. Let's see if we can just get this on. I'm just going to daily. There we go. So yesterday we did capture a bounce on the futures here, and it is pushing up at the moment quite well. So futures moving up there. As I said, long term, this is much more a longer term move for a lot of people with Bitcoin, and well, it's continuing to favour those that have got the courage to hold in there. So there we are. That's it for me. I wish you a great day. I will speak to you in the morning. Bye for now.